Spirits and souls are like fish swimming, so we must connect with the true waters from above. Some branches of Adam split off and got lost in this system, in this world full of taxation, spiritual and physical taxation. There is a way of receiving anything one needs, and this is by means of paying one's spiritual taxes. Now, the legend says Oannes came from the waters of the Persian Gulf. He would teach humankind arts, sciences, languages during the day, and at night he went back to the sea. And if you belong to the Tree of Life, you might have realized that some people hate you for no reason, apparently. But there is a reason, so that the essences clash. Welcome one more day to life ENArmonya. Today I'm going to speak about a very important message. I was already speaking about it in the other channel, ENArmonya, which is mainly in Spanish. And I was also commenting this with the study group. And the other day we received a huge amount of novelties, insights that clarified many important issues concerning the role of the collective divine body in these times. This has to do with connecting ourselves with the true universal master in these, let's call them end times, even though it's not the end. But obviously, the chaos in the world is a call for those who really belong to the Tree of Life, to the divine body, which is here on earth. This is for those who are already looking for something profound, not superficial, and for those who really want to walk on earth connected to the universal master, the universal head. Let's say the universal intelligence has manifested in many different worlds, universes, planets, but here on earth was fully expressed by a man 2000 years ago. He taught the way to reconnect, to be on earth as part of the collective body. Therefore, we have to enter the way. Now, entering the way does not mean just working on oneself to become better or to pay some karma. No, once you enter the way, there is no considering oneself imperfect, because one identifies oneself with the emanation, the spirit of new life that comes to live as the new Adam. And the other day, as I was releasing this message in the other channel, ENArmonya, and also speaking about this with the study group, we received a series of insights. Every time we gather, or every time I share this with those who look for something authentic, new information comes, and this is the master speaking. The connection with the master is essential, because only walking in the universal master can be salvation, if you wish. Not salvation as it's understood in religion. This is not about considering oneself a sinner and be forgiven to go afterwards in a sort of heaven. No, we are speaking about entering the kingdom here and now. The kingdom of heaven is within you and around you, but people don't see it. This is what the master taught. Now, he also spoke about becoming fishermen or fisherwomen. We have to fish something. He said the kingdom of heaven is like a fisherman that went out to the sea and he catch fish. Some were little, some were big, and he got those who were good and rule out those who were bad. This is in the New Testament. But there is also another version of the parable in the Testament of Thomas. He said the fisherman went to fish and he catch a big fish. So he kept the big fish and rule out the rest. We have to find out what is the big fish in us. We have to wonder why there was such a profound emphasis on the fish in ancient times. Some might say this has to do with the age of Pisces, but that's not entirely the truth. It's true in a sense. 2000 years ago, there was a new age called Pisces. Now we are entering Aquarius, the water carrier. I was born under the sign of Aquarius, and part of my mission on Earth is bringing true wisdom for people. Now there is a profound meaning behind the fish, and this is the message of today. There are different parables in the New Testament about the fish. One of them is amazing. It's found in Matthew 17. There the Master says to Peter, "To whom the kings of the earth take toll or charge taxes? To their sons or the sons of the rest?" And Peter says, "Well, to the rest." And the Master adds, "So the sons of the kings don't pay taxes?" Yes, of course, they don't pay taxes. Okay, now go to the lake, catch a fish, and this first fish that you catch will bring a coin in its mouth. So take it. It's a coin of 4 drachma, and it will pay for you and for me, so that they don't get annoyed of not paying taxes. And this left me wondering what all this was about for a long time. And little by little, the Master guided me. This has to do with primordial origins, with releasing a lot of burden or karma, but also has to do with being in the world without causing too much conflict. It's very profound, the message. It can be read in many different levels. The Master says that we should not refrain from paying taxes if we are demanding that in this draconian world. Obviously, we have to pay spiritual taxes and physical taxes. Spain is one of the most taxed countries in Europe. Here, if you work, you are going to lose the 50%, everything you earn. That's for the state. In total, summing up, taxes with the food, the light, electricity. Even if you are registered as a worker, you have to pay the social security and many other taxes. It's very high. I don't know any other country which is so taxed. And even though there are possibilities of not paying all the taxes, in the end you have to pay, no? And well, that's necessary in a system in which we have to buy food in the supermarket or drive or do anything. Everything is taxed. Even going to the toilet is taxed because you have to use water and the water is taxed. Now you have to realize we came here for a higher purpose. And everything we need will be given to us. Governments want to generate poverty. You shall have nothing and you shall be happy. This is the 2030 agenda. But there is a way of receiving anything one needs. And this is by means of paying one's spiritual taxes, not just working on oneself to become better or to dissolve oneself in nirvana and all these ideas that we hear in many teachings. This is about finding your true divine mission. That's the way. But for that, we must realize who we are, really. And there are different lineages. Some of them come from the tree of lives. They are Adamic. They belong to a tree that in some cases had broken branches. Some branches of Adam split off and got lost in this system, in this world full of taxation, spiritual and physical taxation, in terms of disease, pain, death. All that is the result of karma. Actions that were performed not just by human species, but by fallen architects that made mistakes. Now, once you realize you come from the tree of life, you come as a light, the light of the cosmos, as Master said. You are the light of the cosmos, he said. Now, once you realize you came here as an extension of the tree of life, there is no point in regarding yourself as a sinner or an imperfect being that has to be forgiven, that has to work on oneself so one becomes more perfect. No. Your being, your true being, is perfect, has nothing wrong. We must allow that being to be born through us. Some reach the stage of embryo, a divine embryo, and might have to come back over and over for a period of repetitions. But we want to avoid that. There is a way of fulfilling one's mission and continuing evolving here or somewhere else. But one must realize the true essence is divine and has a purpose. Now, this purpose is in accord with divine will. It's not what you wish, selfishly. You will receive anything you need to fulfill your divine mission. But we need faith, true conscious faith. So the first step is a realization. In most cases, this is not so easy, and there is a ladder of inner work, inner evolution, until one reaches the way. In that ladder, one works on true faith, conscious management of emotions, actions, words. One works on accessing true knowledge, true wisdom, acquiring understanding, and also cultivating conscious love and compassion. Now, there is a moment in which there is no way back, and when starts entering the way. Once you enter the way, there is no fall possible. But as we are in the process, in the ladder, we might fall many times. And the embryo might get aborted. Or even if it's a baby, the process can be aborted. So we need at least a stage in which the divine baby growing within ourselves is demanding solid food. It's not just demanding religious milk. And this solid food is a teaching of liberation, which has many details. And one understands by digesting, little by little, these bits of food. Now, in that process, we have to understand where we came from. We have an essence, which we can call Adamic. It's basically consciousness, but part of this consciousness got trapped in this world. Is the fallen or exiled Shekinah, as it's known in Hebrew. The Shekinah is the dwelling. So it's like a vessel where a deeper essence is born. Let's say we have a feminine consciousness. Some call it Christos, anointed. That was the Christos mentioned by Apostle Paul, because he distinguished between Christos and Christos Jesus, which is the mind. So, first we must experience a resurrection of the anointed one, that nature of consciousness in us, which must be the receptacle or the atmosphere in which the divine mind grows. The divine mind is the kid that stands up and defeats the dragon. That's in the book of Revelation, chapter 12. So until we have a divine mind that can really act in every situation and speak through us constantly, we must take care of the divine baby. Now there is a process by which we can protect that baby. And this process was known as fishing. We have to fish the fallen Adam within ourselves and clean that fallen Adam, because it belongs to the tree of life and it must be reintegrated into that kingdom of life where there is no death. In true life, we cannot experience death. There is only abundance, immortality, infinite love. Now, in this modified or distorted world, there is a fake life. Some people consider life as part of the human culture. In human culture, there is no life. In very few aspects of human culture, there is life, because everything is dead. So, this is why human beings die. Now, the bodies that we have are not the result of a benevolent God, are the result of hybridizations that took place in the past, in the ancient past. And these hybridizations took place because those beings that came to guide mix up with anthropoids or species that belong to the earth. That was part of eating from the tree of knowledge of good and efficient. They could have eaten from the tree of life, mixing with their own lineage, but due to different circumstances, ignorance and temptations and misleadings from fallen entities, this was not possible. It's okay. Adam fell, but it's time to reconnect. And that reconnection must be through the understanding of what Adam is. Adam is a code for the presence of the divine in a world such as the earth. Adam is meant to be the guardian of the earth. We are not meant to be slaves or fertilizer. Beings are turned into slaves and fertilizer when they are unconscious. So we have to become conscious of the precious jewel inside ourselves. And this is like fishing. We have to catch the big fish. And this big fish can be reintegrated because it's trapped in a pool or in a bowl where water is stagnated. So we must connect with the true waters from above. Spirits and souls are like fish swimming. And in the ancient times, there were many myths concerning the fish gods or fish men, the fish of wisdom. Check it out, it's all over, in Sumeria, in India, not just in the New Testament. So I don't think it's just a metaphor for the age of Pisces, which took place 2000 years ago. It's a metaphor of beings that in some cases brought civilization, in some cases misled humanity. Many fish gods were the bringers of the arts and sciences. For instance, Oannes, the fish god in Mesopotamia, that was one of the names. There were others, the Apkallu, the 7 sages that were sent by Enki to bring guidance for humanity. Now the legend says Oannes came from the waters of the Persian Gulf. He would teach humankind arts, sciences, languages during the day, and at night he went back to the sea. Now this can be part allegorical, part true, because there were amphibious beings that existed in primordial ages. The legends concerning mermaids, tritons are true, and I have seen those beings. In one occasion I even interacted with a sort of amphibious being. I told my testimony in a video. I might leave the link in the information box. But I don't think all those lineages know the master. They got disconnected. They became fallen angels or fallen messengers. And in many cases they brought misleading arts or ideas that became fallen religion. They made themselves gods. They were worshipped. Dagon in the Bible is a fish god that demanded sacrifices. And many different fallen gods require different things, but the thing is, we cannot be in the true divine body as long as we are serving the old gods. We are not serving lords, any lord. The idea of lords came from those Babylonian gods and fallen gods in other cultures, not just Mesopotamian or Sumerian culture. In the Mayan civilization, there were gods that demanded sacrifice. And they were lords, but the master did not regard himself as Lord. This is why he said, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and don't do what I do, what I tell you? I call you my brethren and my friends. You are no longer my servants, so I am no longer your Lord." This was the message which very few understood. Because the old false gods infiltrated in movements that brought true messages. We see that in the so-called church, Christianity, which is in ancient Egypt, but also in other traditions, mostly in ancient Egypt and later on in the different forms of Christianity of the West. And if you notice, the Pope has a fish hat. Master Jesus, as he was called, was represented as a fish, a big fish. Fish in Greek is ichthys, which is an acronym for Jesus Christos Theouios Soter. So Jesus Christos, the Son of God, Redeemer. Now this was a code referring to Adam, because Adam belonged to primordial lineages that in ancient times also belonged to amphibious species. Some of them were not like us. Some Adamic species were not like us. As I say, they had an amphibious aspect. Some of them fell and others did not fall. But even those who did not fall can be trapped in a system, and they are still looking for a sort of liberation or growth. So they have to be reintegrated. There is a lot of information here. I don't know if you are understanding, but in case there is any doubt, you can leave comments or questions. This is very deep. It's not for people who are just interested in superficial subjects. This is for real seekers of the absolute truth. Now, it is said that human beings have an unconscious, and in this unconscious there is a fallen spirit, a fallen Adamic spirit. There can be also other spirits. Not all human beings come from the life tree. Some come from the tree of knowledge of good and deficient. Those belong to the seed of the serpent. And now you have to understand that some people hate those who come from the tree of life. This is not because they are just asleep. Many people have a soul which does not come from the tree of life. It comes from the tree of knowledge. This does not mean they cannot evolve, but they have to acquire higher bodies and higher seeds, so to say, because they don't have them. Some of us were born with them because we brought them from other existences and even from our primordial source. And we identify ourselves with that primordial source. And if you belong to the tree of life, you might have realized that some people hate you for no reason, apparently. But there is a reason. The essence is not the same in someone from the tree of life and someone from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, or good and deficient. So the essences clash. When I was a child, I was beaten and insulted and mistreated by kids and even by teachers. I never understood why until I realized that there is something in me that shines so much, that awakens envy in many people, even in people who claim to be working spiritually or something. Some of us already brought something, and this something is sacred, is divine. So we develop a mission, and when we started to develop that mission, many of the problems we had disappeared. Some human beings might have some form of spirituality or consciousness, but this consciousness is not connected to the true seed of divine consciousness. This is very important to understand because Sophianic lineages or Ophianic lineages, serpent lineages, do not have the same purpose as us. Actually, they are the ones that cause trouble on earth. They want to exert dominion, they are violent, they are deceiving, they want to destroy humanity. We are seeing it. The dragon now is released. There was a 1,000-year period, and now we are seeing them very easily because they are not so hidden as they were. We can see very clearly who belongs to the tree of knowledge of good and deficient. They always set conflicts between black and white, this race or that other race, this party, that party, the right, the left. They are always fighting, organizing conditions of conflict, divide and conquer. That's the strategy of the enemy. We can even see that in this strange phenomenon, which is now rampant in Europe and the US. It seems in migration from third world countries, but I don't think it's in migration, because those people who obviously are suffering in their countries, they live in very difficult circumstances, are brought here by plane, by boats, and it's not just any company. No, there are companies hired by the European Union and some world government that is making business with that. So it's not immigration, it's slave trafficking.